Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you for joining us this morning. Appreciate it as always. Myself, Jeff Iafrate, Alex, thank you for being here. Fish, God bless you. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's a good Thursday morning. Decked out because New Zealand football is playing.
Yeah, explain this to me. This is New Zealand football, right?
Well, New Zealand soccer, but they lost, but they were expected to lose. But it's a good day. They play at home on Sunday for the first time in, I don't know, like 1,000 days, so I'm excited.
What do you mean? I don't get that. Why so long?
Because of COVID and the fact that...
It's been like 2 years.
Well, I know, but they're New Zealand. They're like in the tiny islands. They don't play very much soccer. But they're in Oceania, so they automatically qualify.
I really do. I hate everything about your country.
Why?
I can't do it. Sorry.
That's why Australia moved to the Asian Federation so that they can play more games.
Stupid.
Bunch of traitors, but
Stupid.
I like that country too.
Whatever. You know what your country doesn't have that we have?
USA plays tomorrow against Japan. We're watching that.
It's a friendly. Stop it, Fish.
It's a big game.
It's not a big game. It's a friendly. It's an exhibition. It's a warm-up. Stop it.
Well, they still need to win.
Whatever. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Hair backwards today?
Yeah. Rolling in here, saw it threw the hat on.
All right, no problem.
For some reason, I haven't been able to go consecutive days by just throwing some gel in it, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's a you problem. Let's get the show started. Amon-Ra St.
Legend.
All right, first, before we get to his legendary comments, he was voted NFC Offensive Player of the Week for a brilliant performance. Led the team in rushing yards, led the team in receptions and receiving yards. Of course, had a few scores. He had a phenomenal week, but it was after the game where he kind of stole the show. Speaking yesterday with media at Allen Park, he put Dyami Brown in a body bag, man.
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
He didn't ask for that.
The guy had 0 catches. I mean, I don't even need to go through his stat line. Basically, he was irrelevant. My goodness. No chill, just like his father. I love it.
And you saw it, too, when he said it. He reminds me, and I mentioned this before, but he reminds me of, he has that Kobe, Michael Jordan mindset. Like that petty, but also he never forgets anything. Like he's always going to hold that and use that against him. So I love it.
It's like finding that chip on your shoulder,
exactly.
that extra motivation that you need.
Exactly. Like MJ.
He does a hell of a job of it. Who would have thought going into the game, other than Amon-Ra St. All right, we're playing the Washington Commanders today. All right. Dyami Brown, I remember you. I remember you taking before me. Bet. I'm going to give your team hell today. Well, you sit on the sideline and do nothing.
And he's probably just chilling.
Unreal.
He's a perfectionist, man. I mean,
he's a perfectionist. He is one of the better wide receivers in the NFL.
Yep.
You know, it's gotten to the point. We did this in May. This was a legit conversation we had. And the NFL came out with a list of the top 32 wide receivers. And guess who didn't make the cut? This is back in May, just so you know.
Yeah, Amon-Ra St. did not make the cut at the time.
He did not make the cut.
Even though
he had more receptions than, I don't know, Amari Cooper, Jamar Chase, George Kittle. More yards than Amari Cooper, Darnell Mooney. Do I need to go on the list here? All these players, Brandon Ayuk, Christian Kirk, all these players that were listed above him. And I'm kind of revisiting now and laughing because the conversation isn't, is he top 32 anymore? Is he top 10? And right now he's playing at not a top 10 level. He's playing at a top 5 level.
Yeah.
You go back to last season, the past 8 weeks, going back to last season, there has not been a better wide receiver other than Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs. That is who Amon-Ra St. is with.
And not only that, he's in the conversation with Michael Thomas and Antonio Brown in terms of, consecutive games with 8+ receptions. So say what you want about those guys and their character issues. They were still really good wide receivers. I mean, Antonio Brown in his prime was different, and Michael Thomas was the best wide receiver in his prime. So to be in that company, it's impressive. I mean, for a guy who was drafted in the 4th round, and again, keeps receipts, doesn't forget, has that work ethic, comes from a family that pushes him. John Brown. I mean, that guy, it's Neil's favorite guy. I mean, I don't blame him either. Amon-Ra St. Brown's been living off spit, and now he's out here destroying DBs. So you got to love it. I love that he's a perfectionist. He's going to outwork you. Again, like if you think about it, guys with his mindset, you just don't see it often with wide receivers. I mean, you see guys that are killers, but someone like Amon-Ra St. Brown, who after a win, goes into the presser and says, the one thing, he had a great game, fantastic game, 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards. First thing he says is, I should have caught that ball on 4th down. That was the first thing he brought up, and I love that, man. I mean, you need guys like that, especially the culture Dan's building. He and Brad as well, he fits that. He's a dog.
Let's look around the league right now. Who do you think leads the league in receiving yards?
I'll say Stephon Diggs.
Close. I'm Cooper Kupp.
Okay, Cooper Kupp.
Still the top dog right now, but Stephon Diggs number 2.
Okay.
With 270 yards. Or excuse me. Yep. I lied. Read it. Wrong order. Tyreek Hill leads the league.
Oh, yeah. He
with
just
284.
Big game.
Sorry. My mistake. Stephon Diggs in 2nd place, like I said. Jalen Waddle in 3rd. Cooper Kupp in 4th. Justin Jefferson 5th. Amon-Ra St. Brown sitting there 3 yards behind Jamar Chase. Ahead of Travis Kelce, ahead of 2 rookies, Drake London and Mark Andrews, Drake London, Garrett Wilson, ahead of Mark Andrews, ahead of Devontae Adams, ahead of Brandon Cooks, Tyler Lockett, Dallas Goedert. He's ahead of all these pass catchers around the league. Rashad Bateman. Not bad if you ask me.
And he's got the best catch percentage out of all the rookies in his class through their career. So, I mean, you could argue he's the most reliable receiver out of his class, and he's drafted in the 4th round.
Top 10 right now. And I think you can make a legitimate case he is a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. For his consistency.
His consistency, his impact on the game, he definitely has to be top 10.
He's an excellent run blocker. Like, things like that don't get noticed enough. Does all the dirty work.
I'm hearing all the he's another Cooper Kupp. That's great and all. I love the way Cooper Kupp blocks. That's phenomenal. The comparison we had when he came out of college last year was Hines Ward.
Right.
Really gritty blocker. Will block for the team. What he develops as a slot player, we'll see. Nobody saw this.
No. Now he's just Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's who he is.
It is insane to me. Alex, if you could. So I have a special video for you, Jeff. Probably want to put in your earpiece real quick.
Can't wait.
All right. May 31st. This was the conversation that we were having here on the morning show. Go for it. The top 32 wide receivers in the NFL. How Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't a top 32 wide receiver is beyond me. And this isn't coming from a Detroit Lions supporter, Detroit Lions fan. No. 15th in receptions last year with 90. 30th in yards, more than A.J. Brown, more than George Kittle, more than Amari Cooper. 15th in receptions, more receptions than Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel. Keep in mind, he only started 9 games. How he's not a top 32 wide receiver is beyond me. Why the stupid list has Christian Kirk, Amari Cooper, any of these? I don't want to hear it. Just production last year. Who was a better wide receiver? This kid was better than most. The players I will list off right now, Amon-Ra St. Brown is better than Christian Kirk, Michael Gallup, Devontae Smith, Brandon Ayuk, Michael Pittman, Darnell Mooney. Jeff, that's pretty spot on.
Yeah.
May 31st to be exact.
Definitely spot on. I mean, again, comparing him to other wide receivers, it's crazy because his first year in the league, I feel like, especially Lions fans, it was almost too good to be true. The last, great wide receiver we had was a Hall of Famer. So it's crazy now to have Amon-Ra St. Brown and Kelvin versus Amon-Ra. Kelvin drafted, 2nd overall. Then you have Amon-Ra, who's shorter, smaller. You found him in the 4th round. It's just it's the comparisons.
Look around the
league.
Funny. What round was Stephon Diggs taken?
Was he like 2nd? And then
Devontae Adams, second.
Yeah, second.
Cooper Kupp, third.
Tyreek Hill. I mean, he wasn't a first-round pick.
Nope. So
yeah.
Look, we've always talked about this. Didn't we? We've given the Steelers credit for this for over a decade. Being able to find Emmanuel Sanders, Antonio Brown. There's one more receiver I'm missing. Excuse me. Long story short, we always credit the Pittsburgh Steelers with drafting receivers in the later rounds and them turning out. Michael Thomas is not a first-round pick.
No, he's not.
So the fact that it's now the Lions who aren't spending a first-round pick on a receiver, and he's already top 10 in the league right now in terms of production, my God. And you go, again, date back to last season, from when his streak started, you won't find 4 wide receivers that are better than him. Receptions, yards, touchdowns, you name it. Unbelievable. The stretch he had. You go last season, 90 receptions, 912 yards, 5 touchdowns, and that was only starting 9 games.
Right.
And that was only less than half a season with Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell in charge of the offense.
And the most impressive thing to me is he didn't put up these absurd numbers in college.
No.
So like that I think that displays and shows also his work ethic coming into the league, and look at how he's transitioned. The second half of last season, damn near put up most of his yards. I mean, he had 900 yards, but most of that production came in the second half. So give him a full season. He could be easily, 13,
he's special.
12,
I think he's already
yards.
special. Do I think he can beat you vertically like Randy Moss, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase? No.
You saw him running.
No, that doesn't matter. Who cares? Like the prototypical Terrell Owens, Randy, those days are over. Welcome to the era of, Wes Walker really started this all those years ago. Now where you have these smaller guys like a Cooper Kupp, like an Amon-Ra St. Brown now.
Not the
Jalen
fastest,
Waddle,
but they can get
Tyreek
to their
Hill,
spots.
Speed, running routes, good run blockers. I mean, this is beautiful. It's an art, and St. Brown deserves all the credit in the world for it. Phenomenal start to his young career. 8:15, we've got the Lions having the 4th highest touchdown percentage drive.
Speaking
in
of
the
Amon-Ra,
NFL. Lions offense is cooking. 8:30, we'll cover more of the Minnesota and the Detroit game. 8:45, we got TJ Hockenson. We have to address him. Top of the hour, Lions, Minnesota. 9:17, we are joined by Owen Ozust of Michigan State. Recap the Washington game and, of course, preview the upcoming weekend against Minnesota. MicroMike joins us at 9:30. Can't wait to have Mike on. Talk some Lions. And then, of course, we'll cap up the show. Thursday Night Football, fantasy football. You guys know the deal. So before we get to all that, we'll take a quick break. And when we get back, like I said, we'll go over the Detroit Lions having the 4th highest drive touchdown percentage in the NFL. But I got to tell you about our good friends over at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. My God, my beard is starting to grow again. And you know where I'm going to be in a few hours? That is at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. No appointment necessary. Their awesome stylists will take care of you like they take care of me. So look, if you need to get trimmed up, if your hair is as bad as Jeff's, get to Lady Jane's. Their stylists will take care of you like they take care of me. Phenomenal job. 10 to 8, 7 days a week. No appointment necessary. Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
All right, looking to buy or sell your home? Let me tell you about my good friend, Michael Phillips. He is the best in the business, whether you're a player or a fan. He's here to help you buy, sell, or invest, and it's his top priority. Being in the game for over 23 years makes Mike the number one option for anybody. If you have any real estate needs or questions, please call my good friend Michael Phillips at 313-403-0011. That's 313-403-0011, and get your game on, everybody. All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Jeff Iafrate joining me this morning. Jeff, the Lions have the 4th highest touchdown percentage in terms of touchdown drive percentage, in the NFL.
It's crazy.
They are cooking
with gas
under Ben Johnson. And we talked about it going into the season. I don't think people quite understood just how good it would be this early on. But I'm not really surprised by the production. I wish I could tell you I was surprised, but I'm really not. I knew what you had in the offensive coordinator. I think we talked ad nauseum over this. Confidence in the offensive coordinator. Jared Goff to have a much better season going into year 2.
The pieces around him.
Right. Last year, he shows up to camp. He had just gotten dumped by his girlfriend, basically. They shipped him off with 2 first-round picks. We don't want you anymore. Comes here. The team is not the best roster. Not many weapons. They suck. They don't know how to use Amon-Ra St. for the first half of the season, clearly. And it's Anthony Lynn. It's a disaster. They start off 0-8. Everything is awful.
Yeah,
nagging injuries. The O-line is hurt. I can go on and on. And then he ends the season on a good stretch in the last 6 games that he played. 3-3. Or, the last 4 games he played, he was 3-1 as a starter. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good from him. Top 3 passer rating in the NFL during that stretch. And he's going into this year now with more weapons. A healthier offensive line-ish. A healthy backfield with DeAndre Swift, which really opens up the whole field for him. And then St. Brown emerging as a young star in this league. You have DJ Chark now, Josh Reynolds, who he trusts, and of course an OC who believes in him and will put him in a position to succeed. I am not surprised at all. I'm really not.
No.
This is what you expected going into the year. The question we had was, well, what's the defense going to be doing? And what kind of position is the defense going to be putting the offense in? If this offense can play ahead, you saw what happened against Washington. That was tough for them.
Right.
Oh, is this offense going to play from behind? You saw what happened against Philly. Quite the opposite. So it's really about, can they jump out to an early lead? Can they continue to be efficient? And can the defense make a stop or two? And so far, you've seen both ends of the spectrum. But the offense, Jeff, it's phenomenal.
No, I mean, we knew they'd be efficient. We had that discussion for weeks before the season. More explosive, more creative. And I think a byproduct of that is the efficiency, which you're seeing. I mean, the 4th highest touchdown drive percentage in the NFL. They're converting in the red zone. And you saw it through Game 1 and Game 2. They were efficient. Now, there's this, against the Commanders, the 4th down call they went for, I had no problem with that. They didn't end up getting it. And I think they still left a lot of points out on the field. So it's crazy to think about. And that's without TJ Hockenson and DJ Chark playing to the level we expect them to be playing at. Really, the main concern for me is injuries, if this offense can stay healthy. But even that, I mean, 3 offensive linemen out against the Commanders, and you can run the ball effectively. You can protect Jared Goff. Honestly, I think it speaks to the offense buying in to Ben Johnson. And I love what Dan's been preaching, Ben's been preaching, that next man up mentality, which you've been seeing on display so far. I mean, that's what good teams do, honestly. You miss a piece or two on your offense, guys step up, you still find a way to play well. They battle adversity. That's what they've been doing. So no complaints about Ben Johnson. I think with Jared Goff, we've talked about this. Say what you want about Jared. You can win with Jared Goff. I mean, you can win games with him. You can have an efficient offense with him as long as, again, good coaching, pieces around him, and he has both those things. So I want to act like I'm surprised, but I'm really not. I mean, if you give a guy like Jared great coaching and you give him the pieces that has been given, no Jamison Williams yet, which is crazy to think about too. That's going to be another piece of this offense to be able to open things up. But overall, I think it just honestly speaks to what Ben Johnson's been preaching to this offense and their ability. They've all bought in, and now it's just about keeping up and being consistent. And we'll see. I mean, they're one of the highest scoring offenses right now. I believe they scored the most touchdowns in the NFL. Touchdowns.
Yep, 9.
Because Bills and Chiefs they've had pick sixes. The Lions haven't had that. But again, They're efficient at him. And a lot of that, again, has to do with Ben Johnson. Because if you know, you know. Anthony Lynn last year, I get it. It was Jared Goff's first year with the Detroit Lions, but you could tell that offense needed a lot of work. And they don't have too many more pieces. They have DJ Chark, of course, but still, they missed 3 offensive linemen last game. And the offense still looked good.
Where do you think the Lions rank in terms of total yards in the NFL?
What are they? Total yards.
Total yards per game. To
Say
give you
top 3.
To give you context, just so you get a number, leading the league is the Eagles with 470 yards a game.
Yeah, because what they do on the ground, too.
Miami, 427 a game. Buffalo, 413. What do you think the Lions are?
I'll say top 5.
All right, well, you're absolutely right. On the money, number 4.
Oh,
with 406 yards per game in total offense.
It's crazy.
More than the Chiefs, more than the Bucks, more than every other team outside of Miami, Buffalo, and Philly. And you go to the rushing. What teams lead the NFL in rushing? Take a guess. Top 3 teams. Who are they?
I'd say the Eagles are up there.
Okay.
I would say it's another team that's been pounding the ball. Maybe the Browns?
Jeff, I love you. This is why I love doing the show with you. Cleveland, number 1 at 200 yards a game. Philly, number 2 at 189. Number 3 coming in hot. The Detroit Lions at 186 yards per game.
And that's with the limited DeAndre last
game. 3rd in rushing yards per game. 4th in total yards per game in the NFL. This is not an accident. This isn't the defense is forcing turnovers. You get a short field, you get some points up, you're scoring a ton.
Right.
This is a team that is moving the ball up and down the field almost at will. You really take out that first quarter and a half from the Philly game to start the season. I mean, they've been on it. The first drive was really good. They really stumbled for the rest of the half. And then this 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, they found their stride. They got 7 in the 3rd. They got 14 in the 4th. The rest is history.
That's all you can ask
they
for.
did lose the game, but the rest is history. They did a hell of a job, I think, at least recovering to the best of their abilities. Coaching did not help them in week 1, but week 2, coaching was definitely there. The backups definitely helped out. They stepped in and did a hell of a job. That's absolutely an attribute to the coaching. Jared Goff played a hell of a game, his 6th career game with 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, by the way, tying, I believe, Steve Young and Dan Marino.
Correct. I saw that stat.
That is ridiculous. DeAndre Swift, do I even need to have a conversation about DeAndre Swift and what he's doing in the NFL right now? We talked about 1,000 and 1,000. I'll playfully joke. This is a thing. Now, do I think the receiving is doable?
That's the tough
don't.
part, yeah.
But you're looking at a 1,300-yard back, 1,400-yard back right now.
If he's healthy and he gets you have to worry about health because last game he only got 5 carries. Now, he made the most of those 5 carries. He did. But that's the most impressive
10 yards a carry
which
right
is
now.
Ridiculous. Now, if he can get more carries, not saying you got to give him 25 carries, but he could easily be an 1,200-yard rusher. There's no doubt.
You know, we're giving this offense a lot of credit for the way they're throwing the football, moving the ball downfield.
Right.
But it all starts with the run game.
Always.
And what Ben Johnson has been able to do, he's really revamped the way the Lions run the football. Multiple tight end sets. Tight end sets with offensive linemen and additional offensive linemen. And what they're doing essentially, and you know what, we're going to get film for this tomorrow. We're going to break it down together. But what's happening right now, Jeff, is the Lions are creating holes. And I'm not talking, the running backs really got to make it work, and if it does, it's good. They are parting the sea right now at the line of scrimmage. It is unbelievable. And it starts with what? Run block scheme.
Spreading
all it is, it's power runs.
Yeah.
Pulling the guards. The way they pull the guards, they double team so effectively. And the easiest way for a play to get blown up is if you miss a double team or somebody misses a block. 2 games into the year, they are dominating the line of scrimmage. And it's because of their run scheme. It's phenomenal.
And in the minute
I wish I could sit here and have a different conversation and tell you, look, they got to work on the run game. They got to do this better. I would love to do that. I can't. This offense, outside of, again, a quarter and a half, has been exceptional, have had their way with opposing defenses, have protected Jared Goff pretty damn well, and have run the football at a level you didn't even expect. Right. 186 a game, a healthy DeAndre Swift, My goodness, Jeff.
The most impressive thing to me is to be able to run the football and then the following week be able to run the football. Like, there's Ben Johnson in his scheming, and that's the thing you notice too. They have to play with Amon-Ra St. Brown in the end around. Like, that was probably in a formation where Washington's thinking they're going to run the ball. Boom.
Well, how many times did they motion
And
Amon-Ra?
they didn't give it to him.
He set that up, man.
Yeah, right. It's crazy.
It is. I'm going to go back and find out the exact number of times they ran that set for them to set it up in that exact moment when they used it. It was the perfect play call. Washington had just scored. They're coming on the field, ready for a conventional, hand it off, and let's see what's going to happen. They pull the end around. St. Brown goes 50-plus yards down the field. We all know the rest. That is...
But it's keeping defenses guessing. That's a good OC. That's a good OC.
There's that. There is... Let's call it what it is. The way they are run blocking at this point to start the year is nothing short of... It's beyond impressive. It's unbelievable. It's everything you could have dreamed of when you hired Ben Johnson. And again, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago, I would have pulled my hair out had the Lions ever considered hiring internally. And suddenly, Dan Campbell gets hired. Granted, Ben Johnson was here before Dan, but you start to hear the name, right? After the Anthony Lynn decision. Well, there's this young guy in the building. He's really coming up helping with play calling. He's really helping out with planning for the game. Okay, cool. I like this name, Ben Johnson. Let's learn more about him. Let's take a deeper dive. Oh, okay, wait. Zach Taylor tried to hire him. Oh, wait. He comes from this tree. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's something there. Right. The conversation happens on the show. We start talking more about Ben Johnson. He should be the OC. I mean, this is, as much as I'd love to sit here and literally tell you to your face, hey, Jeff, 100% this is what I expected out of Ben Johnson, I'd be lying. I would be. Not this level of production.
No.
With this, again, it is a pain in the ass team to game plan for, and they don't even have Jameson Williams available yet. Hockenson's playing like a turd. But he has them clicking. And it starts really at the fundamental level at the line of scrimmage.
And that's
coaching.
Look at Kyle Shanahan. Like, imagine facing Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers, and you know they're going to run the football at him, and they still run the football, and they're able to run it. Like, that's, I think, to me, that's how I identify good OCs or good coaches offensively is if a team knows what you're going to do, and you still have success doing it, I think that tells a lot about you and your knowledge of the game.
When you're able to run the ball the way the Lions are able to, right, you put out extra tight ends. You put out the extra offensive linemen. Right. That also sets up, I don't know, play action, man.
Just
and who's
constantly on your toes.
Who benefits from it, right? Because now you're sucking in the safeties. You're sucking in these linebackers.
Outside receivers and Jared as well.
And so far it's really been Amon-Ra St. Brown benefiting a lot.
Yeah.
Josh Reynolds at times too. But St. Brown... Guys, I don't want to hear that, oh, the league hasn't adjusted for him yet, Adam. No, every opposing team, I promise you, start their week. Hey, guys, all right, we got Detroit this week. Here's what we need to understand. If we lose at the line of scrimmage, we are done for. That's the first thing you say as a defensive coordinator. Interior, on the edge, we need to be perfect. This is what the Lions like to do. This is how they pull their guards. This is the sets they run, yada, yada, yada. They get into all of that. And then they say, you see this guy number 14 right here? That guy is a problem. I don't ever want to see us not having at least two people guarding this individual. I'll live with DJ Chark. I will live with Josh Reynolds. I will live with Hockenson. But don't you dare let this guy run for 70 yards on us and catch another 115 and 2 touchdowns. Don't we dare line you up in the end zone, or excuse me, in the red zone, one-on-one against this guy. Because you can't guard him. Because clearly they couldn't guard him in Washington, and clearly they couldn't guard him against Philly. So who the hell are we? Teams are game planning for this guy, and he's still beating them. Because of his individual brilliance, because of the scheme, because of the amazing game planning by Ben Johnson and company.
The rapport with him and Jared.
The rapport with Jared Goff. Everything is clicking right now. But I don't want to hear the excuses of, oh, well, St. Brown, no one's adjusting to him yet. I promise you, he was circled on that bulletin board alongside DeAndre Swift. Those are the two X-factor players on offense right now. And that's how it'll be for the rest of the year. And we haven't even seen Jameson Williams at the field, which is, I find, insane.
And you can't even pull they haven't really played. They play two teams that are pretty good defensively, especially they have pretty good secondaries. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's not like they play the Tennessee Titans, where you have Stephon Diggs running around like a madman and getting open. He's playing some tough teams defensively, and he's still getting open. So give credit where it's due.
Fair enough. Let's take a quick pause. When we get back, more Detroit Lions talk coming up in a bit. Lions play the Minnesota Vikings, by the way, this Sunday in Minnesota. Big divisional game. Their first division game of the year. This is a test.
It's a big one.
This is about, again, I would say Philly was one of those games. Again, I still think they let it go. But this is a big test.
Because of the NFC North.
You are going to understand what kind of football team you have. And if you can go out and beat Minnesota.
I'm not ready for Monday. If that happens.
Jeff, tell everybody at home about our good friends over at Cintron.
Guys, Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings. Cintron has combined all three of their delicious flavors into a limited edition 6-pack sampler box. You see it on the screen. If you're watching on woodwardsports.com, they got the cranberry, the sugar-free, the original. Try it and pre-order your Cintron 6-pack sampler box today at cintronworld.com/Red Wings. Don't forget, get energized with Cintron.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Bedrock.
All right, Bedrock, Detroit, ladies and gentlemen, open until the 25th. I apologize, Fish. But the summer is better at the Monroe Street Midway. Why? Art festivities, live music, food trucks, free Wi-Fi so you can work from the park, roller skating, and much more. I love it.
Only open till Sunday, so get down there.
It's closing in a few days, guys. Take advantage of the Monroe Street Midway.
Nice
it's a great time.
Too.
Take your kids, take
hot,
your wife,
not too cold.
take your girlfriend, hell, take your mistress. I don't know what you're doing with your life. Long story short, go enjoy your time at the Monroe Street Midway. We are back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Thank you all for joining us here on the Woodward Sports Network. If you're watching live over at our website on woodwardsports.com, it is appreciated. If you're in the chat, it is appreciated.
Very appreciated.
We have some really neat things coming through the pipelines over the next few weeks. So excited to share all that news with you guys eventually. But Jeff, this conversation, there was no avoiding it. There was no avoiding it.
It's inevitable.
If the Lions, and I hate this, but if the Lions win on Sunday, Jeff, do you change your expectations?
No. See, it's a tough question because if they beat Minnesota, a team that I thought would be on the road, a team that I thought would be second in the division, I had them at 10-6, the Packers at 10-7, the Packers at 11-6. I mean, certainly it would give you optimism about where this team is, but again, I have to see what they do defensively because that's always my biggest concern because that's never going to change my expectations. We knew from the beginning, I picked them to go 8-9. That was based on the offense not being a top 3 offense in the league, but being a very, very efficient, a very good offense. My question, though, is defensively. And, again, if they come out and have a fantastic performance against the Minnesota Vikings, Jeff Okudah plays well, and these guys look good, although I think they're going to miss John Comiskey a little bit because he is out for the unforeseeable future. I don't think it's really going to change my expectations for the future for the season. I think they'll still get 8 wins. Let's say they beat Minnesota. I think there's still a chance. It doesn't mean they can't drop a game that I thought they'd win down the line. So I don't think it changes my expectations too much, but it definitely lets me know that they're ahead of schedule because their second year, we didn't think they'd be at this point. The division, the NFC North, is wide open right now. All the teams are 1-1. And if you beat Minnesota and Green Bay loses, you're number 1 in the NFC North, Adam, which would be, I mean, if you told me that before the season, I would have never guessed that. So that's the most impressive thing. If you can go on the road and win, we're going to have nothing but good things to say about this football team. Now, context matters, of course, but I wouldn't say it changes my expectations. I mean, we've always said they can contend for the playoffs. 8 wins in the NFC can possibly get you a wild card spot. But the bigger picture is you'd be leading, I get it's early in the season, but you'd be leading the NFC North right now. But again, I had them splitting with Minnesota, so doesn't mean they can't still lose at home to Minnesota. So I'm not going to say it does, Adam. It doesn't change my expectations, but it definitely lets me know that this football team is ahead of schedule. Because if you're beating teams this early on the road, lets me know that the team's stepping up. So
I don't want to discredit a potential win on Sunday.
No,
Let me start by saying
it would be big.
But it won't change my expectations, given, welcome to the NFL, Jeff. And you know what? If you guys want me to throw something out there you probably won't like, they're going to lose a game they probably shouldn't. And we're going to have to eat that one. Just like the Bills lost to the Jaguars last season.
Bengals lost to Cooper Rush.
Bengals lost to Cooper Rush. You go to week 1, the Bears beating the Niners. No team is excused from losing games you probably shouldn't lose. So I want to caution the Minnesota game. Look, the win would be phenomenal. The win would mean a ton. It would really inspire a lot of confidence for me and this coaching staff. And what I say before the season, November, I will have an answer on what I think of this coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
The jokes aside, the kneecaps aside, rah-rah, all the additions, all the mistakes, all the good decisions, give me till November, mid to late November, and I will have my personal opinion answer on this coaching staff.
Right.
That will only encourage me if they're able to go on the road against a division opponent I believe is one of the better teams in the NFC and win that game. Having said that, if they lose, again, depending on the fashion, but either way, the macro doesn't change. Now, would you be pissed on a Monday if they lost a close game because of a bad decision or a botched play? Everybody would. That's not excusable. But the macro picture, if everything was supposed to happen the way it should be, you technically should lose this game. Does that make sense? So there isn't a Monday where this team is 1-2, where I'm overreacting, and a Monday where they're 2-1, and I'm overreacting. I'm still at the macro picture here. I think 7-10. 8-9 is a possibility. I think it's 7-10 this year. So I can't have a knee-jerk reaction. You're upset with me on the Monday after Philly? Good. You blew that game. You had every opportunity to win that game. You blew it. Your coaching staff blew it. Those decisions, horrendous. I don't want to talk about coaching decisions. You go out, lose to a better team, all right, you can live with that. It's the NFL. It's a 17-game season. You're 2 games in. After Sunday, you'll be 3 games in. There are still 14 games left to play for.
A lot of things can happen.
So I don't want to sit here and say my expectations will change, because what I went in with going into the season, the only way that could ever change, Jeff, the only way I could ever change my expectations is at the midway point, this is a 6-3 or a 7-2 football team.
Yeah, then we got to talk. I mean,
then we have to sit here and say, boy, not only were we wrong about where this team was at, this coaching staff has them further along than we ever could expect. Now, do I expect them to start 7-2, 6-3? I don't. But the point is that get there and we can have that conversation.
Right.
But I'm not willing to just pull myself out of my macro expectations for this football team.
No, I mean, look at the Giants. They're 2-0. It doesn't matter how they've won. Yeah, they've squeaked by both these teams, but on top of that, you don't think in New York the Giants fans are saying we're going to make the playoffs? And they could very well make the playoffs, but teams are going to, early in the season be better than what's on paper. The Giants look good. We look very good offensively. But again, I'm with you, Adam. I don't think, unless they beat the Vikings decisively and the defense looks, phenomenal. other than that, like you said, you can drop a game throughout the season. I mean, you could beat the Vikings and still end up going 8-9. I could still believe that. So it doesn't really change too much.
100%. And you know what? 9 o'clock, we're going to go into the matchup specifically. So I don't want to give away too much right now, but let's just have an open conversation. Where can the Lions punish the Minnesota Vikings? Let's start at the line of scrimmage on offense, right? You're confident in this offensive line. Minnesota's secondary, they struggled, to say the least, against Philly. But the pass rush was there. You have to be mindful of that. But you have a very capable offensive line.
Yeah, they got home against Green Bay. They didn't get home really too much against Jalen Hurts.
They're giving up 5 yards a carry this year. Fits right into what Detroit wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
There is opportunity here. But where can Minnesota hurt the Lions? The Lions are giving up over 5 yards a carry as well. Dalvin Cook, slow start to the season. They're going to want to get him involved. Every time Dalvin Cook has played since I can remember, he's dominated the Lions. He's going to play a big factor in this game. Last season, Justin Jefferson had almost 140 yards at halftime.
It's crazy.
So we got to be very mindful of the strengths the Lions bring to the table and what the Vikings bring to the table. And it is so cliche for me to sit up here and say, Jeff, the team that wins time of possession and the turnover battle, they're going to win the football game. But boy, in a matchup like this, where neither team is really going to win because of their quarterback, who's going to make the plays? Who's going to make that one play that just ends up winning you the game? That one possession that gave you the breathing room you needed to go out and close this game? Will it be St. Brown? Will it be Swift? Will it be Justin Jefferson? Will Adam Thielen have a breakout game?
Mm-hmm.
Will it be Dalvin Cook? That's the conversation we're going to be having.
As much as the Vikings, too, if you look at the yards given up for each team, the Lions give up 442 yards per game, like rushing and passing.
Yep.
The Vikings give up 433. But look at the point differential. The Vikings give up 15 points per game through 2 games. The Lions give up 32. So in the red zone, the Vikings have been very, very good. So I'm curious to see what the Lions look like.
Their first game, they dominated Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
They forced a ton of turnovers. So they were moving up the field, and they just weren't getting anything out of it.
Right.
And Philly moved up and down the field and scored. So there's a little context to it, but you're absolutely right. When we get back, TJ Hockenson is tied for the most drops in the NFL. He ranks 32nd among tight ends, according to PFF. 32nd.
Dang.
So we got to get to that in just a bit. But before we do, Jeff, the best defense on and off the field.
Guys, we talk about defenses in the NFL. There's inconsistency, but there's zero inconsistency with Guardian Alarm because, guys, fall's here. Summertime is over, but you're still spending some time outside. Let Guardian Alarm give you peace of mind while you're out enjoying the sunshine. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Rest easy knowing you have 24/7 protection. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Let them know your friends at Woodward Sports sent you.
See you later.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
There is nothing better on game day than a rocking tailgate. With all the fun comes some responsibility too. Host liquor liability is an important coverage when hosting a high school, college, or pro tailgate. Let Mark at Swiss Insurance make sure you are protected so you can enjoy the big game.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Thank you for joining us all this morning. 8:45, TJ Hockenson, Jeff tied for the most drops in the NFL, along with being the 32nd ranked tight end according to PFF. 2 games, 14 targets, 7 receptions, 64 yards, 0 touchdowns. It's been a rough start to the season for TJ Hockenson. I was told that he is, again, one of the better tight ends in the NFL. He's a Pro Bowl tight end. You're sleeping on TJ Hockenson. Year 1, 360 yards receiving. His only full season in the NFL, 723 yards receiving. Last year, 583. This season, he is on pace for just over 515 yards. That doesn't seem like the kind of tight end that you want to pay. But I want to leave the money out of this. He has struggled so far to start the year. And if Ben Johnson can unlock this run game, he can unlock Amon-Ra St. Brown, he can do a good job of putting all these players in a position to succeed. There's no reason Hockenson can't be put in that position. But if you go back and watch both games, who do you think got the most single one-on-one coverages on the Lions?
I mean, I would assume it's TJ
Hockenson.
Because of?
And he had 7 targets in both games.
Yeah, he's getting targets.
He's getting the targets, and he has a catch rate of 50%. He is literally Eric Ebron, just not the same player. Different names,
different mentality,
different school, a different potential.
Yeah, right.
But he has done nothing
to say
that's different than Eric Ebron.
Well, he's done nothing to say he's a top 5 tight end so far.
Well, he's not even top 10 right now.
No, he's not. He's not. I mean, he's the last, like you said, 32nd tight end, according to PFF, which, again, say what you want about PFF.
Look, there are things I totally disagree with PFF on. We are over-exaggerating his importance in the run game. Brock Wright did just fine during the games on Sunday. Hockenson, yes, has value. We all see the potential in him. But, Jeff, I need to see some production, man.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for 100 yards a game. I'm not even asking for 70, 80 yards a game. But I am asking for you to have impact on the game.
That's all.
Oh, I love this. Don't insult Ebron. What? He's not Ebron. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you really wanted me to do this. I really don't want to have to do this,
Lord.
but we have to do this because we have some ignorant people. All right, guys, let's play a little game of Can You Listen? All right? Alex, if you don't mind. Welcome to the first edition of Can You Listen? Brought to you by the Woodward Sports Network. Let's start. Can you listen? Fact number 1. Through 40 games of their first 3 seasons and their respective careers, TJ Hockenson and Eric Ebron both played 40 games. Hockenson caught 160 passes. Ebron 130 passes. Ebron 1,500 yards. Hockenson 1,600 yards. Ebron 7 touchdowns. Hockenson 12 touchdowns. We all agree, by the way. Hockenson has way more potential. But he has played and produced at the same level almost as Eric Ebron. And we give him a pass. Oh, well, Adam, that's not fair. That's not fair. Okay. How about this? How about their rookie year? Ebron had a 53% catch rate. Hockenson 54%. How about year 2? Hockenson had 66%. But Ebron had 67%. How about year 3? They each had a 72% catch rate. He's not Eric Ebron? What, he has, 120 yards, 130 yards more through the air? He has 5 more touchdowns? Okay. He's produced a little more. He's Eric Ebron. There's no difference. Outside of the potential we all see,
right?
I'll give him it. And he has so much potential.
That's the thing with TJ. He can change the narrative, but you're talking about as of right now.
As of right now, he's produced nothing more than Eric Ebron. Yeah. That's the sad reality.
Now, 15 games left, but I'm not saying you're wrong. The only thing, and I want to get this clear too, because the people that say, well, he can run block. No, he can't. I mean, check the PFF grade too. He's ranked the worst on the Lions offense in terms of his run blocking grade. He's a 51.3. The next lowest, I think, is Brock. Or no, it's actually him and Matt Nelson, but Matt Nelson doesn't even play. So that's the thing with TJ is that I think that's the myth that gets confused as well. He's solid in the run game. It's actually not. He's better at pass blocking than he is run blocking. And for what Ben Johnson wants to run, that's got to be TJ's bread and butter. You got to be better in the run game, especially considering that you can mix up these sets and get TJ open looks out of play action with different sets. If you're going to throw to TJ Hockenson, he's got to be able to come down with it. I mean, you get 7 targets, you got to grab 5 of those. I mean, really. I mean, you can't grab, what do you have, 3 grabs last week and 3 the previous week?
Where do you think TJ Hockenson ranks among tight ends in terms of total yards?
What do you think he ranks out of total yards?
Is he top 5, top 10?
No.
Top 15?
Maybe 15.
Okay.
I'm gonna be nice here. Say 15. You're gonna say like 25, aren't you?
15.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly 15.
Okay, that's right.
And he's got 64 yards through 2 games. Ian Thomas of the Carolina Panthers, Hayden Hurst, Evan Ingram, Dalton Schultz, Logan Thomas, Jawan Johnson, Zach Ertz, Pat Freiermuth, Tyler Higbee, Gerald Everett, Darren Waller, Dallas Goedert, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce all have more yards than him. Harrison Bryant, Tyler Conklin, Andrew Beck are all within 10 yards of TJ Hockenson through 2 games. He is not producing at a level you need him to. And again, I will compliment him. I believe he is a matchup nightmare. You saw the individual matchups he had against Washington. He could have easily made them pay. He didn't. He had that one really good catch, which was an insane throw, by the way, from Jared Goff. It was in the exact spot it needed to be. It was perfect. Having said that, you need to see more out of Hockenson. He only helps open up the offense anyways.
And Corey Perez, TJ is now the one to hate on since Okuda's playing well. Like, that's... to think we're sitting up here and we just decide, you know what? Let's hate on TJ. Like he hasn't been playing well. I mean, I'm sorry. We can't be blind to these things. TJ's not playing well. We're going to acknowledge he's not playing well. That's how it is. And he's got to play better. I think he can play better. I'm the idiot who said he'd lead this team in touchdowns. Looking back, he has to play better. For real. So it has nothing to do with picking on TJ Hockenson. I mean, come on, guys.
Corey.
Come on.
Do me a favor.
Come on.
Go home to your mom. All right, and ask her to breastfeed you.
Wow.
And shut the hell up.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow, all right. All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
Oh, my God.
TJ deserves every ounce of criticism. I just showed you he is every bit of Eric Ebron through his first 3 seasons. Oh, yeah, you're being too harsh. I will acknowledge. I think we all agree. Hockenson has so much potential.
He does. I mean,
but is that all we're going to talk about? His potential? His first game in the NFL, he teased you with everything he could be. The next Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski, Darren Waller, Mark Andrews, Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates. He gave you all that game 1 against the Arizona Cardinals of his career. Nothing remotely close since. Outside of what, Green Bay last year? Early on in the year at Lambeau? Come on.
Yeah.
You need better from the guy who, I'm sorry, he was taken number 8 overall. No, I'm not going to kill this regime for him. They didn't take him, just like they didn't take Okuda. And if they can find some way to make both of them work, great.
And no one's...
But Hockenson's going to command a lot of money.
Yes, he is. He has 1 more year, but I doubt... I mean, the guy's going to want to get paid. And no fault to TJ. If I'm TJ Hockenson, I want to get an extension before next season. So I'm not saying he's wrong for it, but the reality is you have to question the way he's been playing. That's the reality of it. I'm not sitting here. We're not saying TJ, get him out of town. We're not saying that. You have him for the entire season. And I believe he will play better. I think he will step it up. But through 2 games, to be the 32nd ranked tight end, according to PFF, and to have the run blocking grade he has according to PFF, it's just inexcusable. Like you got to play better. Considering looking at the tight ends, TJ's by far the best tight end. So go out and perform. He's getting the targets. He's getting the opportunity. He's just got to come down with it. Whether it's the rapport with Jared, whether it's him being in his head, whatever it is, he's got to overcome that. I mean, that's what it is. I know he's better than what he's been playing. It doesn't take a genius to see that. If you're a Detroit Lions fan, you know that. But he's got to prove it on the field. And through 2 games, to see what Amon-Ra St. Brown's doing, to see Brock Wright come down with a big catch, and TJ had a big catch last game as well against the Commanders, but you saw a lot of those drops. And that's unlike TJ. Coming out of college, what was the thing about TJ, Adam? He dropped one ball his last season at Iowa. One ball. And then now he just can't catch. So I don't think it's a TJ problem. It's up here for him.
Let's go through some of the starting tight ends around the NFL as of right now. You have Irv Smith Jr., a second-round pick. You have Dawson Knox, a third-round pick. You have Mike Gesicki, a second-round pick. Dallas Goedert, a second-round pick. Mark Andrews, a second-round pick. Ian Thomas, a fourth-round pick. Dalton Schultz, a fourth-round pick. Tyler Conklin, a fifth-round pick. Evan Ingram, he's a first-round pick. David Njoku, end of the first round. Gerald Everett, second round. Jonnu Smith, third round. George Kittle, fifth round. Hunter Henry, second round. Austin Hooper, third round. Tyler Higbee, fourth round. C.J. Uzama, fifth round. Jesse Adams, fifth round. Let's see where else. Zach Ertz, second round. Travis Kelce, third round. Do I need to go on?
Like I said, the Giants drafted.
You can find the value. The value will be there. Whether it's James Mitchell, whether it's... I don't care who it is. And I'm not saying you give up on Hockenson, but you have to admit, you have to acknowledge that he's not playing well. He's not playing well. He's nothing better than Eric Ebron was, yet we sit here and just give him a pass. Oh, you can't talk. You can't be negative about TJ Hockenson. Eric Ebron was so bad. So bad, Adam. So bad.
It's funny how the Giants drafted, what is his name, Bellinger? In like the third round, the first game he played, he got a touchdown. Like the first catch. I'm not saying he's better than TJ. I'm not saying that. But like when you know, you know. Like TJ's got to play better. He has to. And that's all we're saying, man. Like I want him to be extended. But again, you're not paying him top 5 tight end money from what he's performing. They're 2 games. You're just not. So he has the entire 15-game season left. So no one's overreacting, but we're only acknowledging he's played poorly, which is very true.
And you know what, Cheech? Even if I agree that Ebron was worse, he was worse than putting up the same numbers that Hawkinson's putting up. What does that tell you? Similar catch rate, similar drop rate. You tell me. Top of the hour coming up. We will go through the head-to-head matchups between the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. 9:17. Owen will be joining us this morning. MicroMike at around 9:30.
Go Lions.
And, of course, we got Thursday Night Football tonight.
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. God, I can't wait to go back to Brown Stadium. Ah, legendary. Do you do that at Lion games? No. Browns do it, though.
Jesus. Get Brownie the elf out of here.
All you have to do is start a chant at the Lions games and it'll convince me to go to more Lion games. Just start a chant while you're walking to your seat. That's all you have to do. It's not that hard. It's not rocket science. Pretty darn simple.
Fish?
What? It is. Just start a chant while you're going to the seats. That's what the Browns do.
I love you, Fish. Shut the hell up. It's the first one of the day. Oh, God. Before we get back, though, Jeff, could you tell everybody at home about our good friends over at Big Boy?
Guys, you can join the Morning Woodward Show, Big D Energy, in Imani and Edwards with Maz this Friday, tomorrow, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Big Boy at Rochester Road on M59. Come try their new loaded fries, burgers, and more. Hang out with the whole Woodward Sports crew and see the shows live in action. We'll see you there on Friday, Big Boy in Rochester. Until then.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
The only only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Join the Pepper Club at Chili Peppers Tanning. You'll get all the best deals, plus they will be all competitors by $5. Chili Peppers has the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans. 26 locations and more on the way.
Chili Peppers Tan?
What was that?
I don't know. Chili Peppers Tan? Is that better?
There you go. That's the one I heard. That's the one I know. Oh, God. Top of the hour. Thank you for joining us here on the Morning Woodward Show. Top of the hour, of course, brought to you by our good friends over at Bedrock Detroit. Jeff, we did this last week with Washington. We did it the week prior with Philly. Let's break it down head to head. We'll start with the coaching this week. Dan Campbell, Kevin O'Connell. Who gets the edge going into Sunday?
I'm going to say Dan Campbell. I like his staff better, and I think he's more experienced at this moment in time. So I'm going to go with Dan.
Put me in a tough spot here.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the decision-making Kevin O'Connell had last week.
Yeah, he did. He made an awful decision before the half, just like Dan Campbell did week one.
So it's...
I want to say it's 50-50 as of now, but I would have to give the edge to Dan Campbell. Like you said, more experienced. Kevin O'Connell, the first game, phenomenal. Coached the perfect game. Not so perfect against Philly, and on the road, he can't make those kind of mistakes. They did. They lost that game. I'm a big Kevin O'Connell guy, but... early. 2 games into his coaching career, he's going to have to make a few adjustments. Not the end-all, be-all. Having said that, quarterback play, Kirk Cousins or Jared Goff. And may I remind you, before you answer, this is not a primetime game.
So I think I know where you're going with this. I'm going to say Jared Goff. Because not only is Jared having a better year with no Justin Jefferson. He has Amon-Ra St. Brown, though, pretty damn good wide receiver. But I don't know. It's hard. This is the conversation we had last week between Carson Wentz and Jared Goff. It's like, do I trust either of these guys in big moments? Probably not, but I'm going to lean Jared Goff just because of the system he's going to be in. I trust him. And Dalvin Cook isn't running the ball very effectively right now, and I think with the run game, I trust Jared more. So they've been able to run more effectively, and if they establish that play action, I can see Jared being efficient. So I'm going to go Goff.
I am going to give it a percentage. I'm going to go 55-45. It was a tough decision for me to make. But
Sounds about right.
But I'm going to go with Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff has the better offensive line, just as capable as a backfield as Minnesota does with Dalvin Cook. Wide receivers, yes, they don't have Jefferson, they don't have Thielen, but I believe Jared Goff, will be the more comfortable quarterback on Sunday, the quarterback under less pressure on Sunday. I'm going to give the edge to Jared Goff, coming off a 4-touchdown performance, flawless, a few overthrows against Washington, but really had his best game in a Detroit Lions uniform, in my opinion.
Right.
I'm going to give the edge to Jared Goff heading into the week.
Yeah.
Running back, Dalvin Cook, DeAndre Swift, which backfield has the upper hand?
Oh, easily. Deeper backfield, and I like how Swift's been playing. I mean, he's been on fire so far, even in limited touches. So I'm going to go with DeAndre Swift. I think Dalvin, obviously, is a much better running back considering what he was, but so far he hasn't been playing like it. And I expect him to have a good game against the Lions, of course, but I'm going to go with DeAndre Swift. He showed more, and not just that. I think there's more behind him as well. So I'm going to go with DeAndre.
I unfortunately have to go Dalvin here. Although I think DeAndre Swift right now is not only playing at a higher level, I think he's healthier.
And I think he's more dangerous in the pass game, too.
Dalvin, though, the advantage I will give Dalvin is the history he has against Detroit.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
He has his way against the Lions. The Lions are giving up a ton of yards on the ground. This is going to be a tough game. I'll give the edge to Minnesota here. I'll give it to Dalvin Cook. He is going to be a problem on Sunday. Wide receiving core, Jeff, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds, DJ Chark. Who's got the better receiving core?
I'm gonna have to say the Minnesota Vikings here, just because Justin Jefferson is so good that it takes them up an entire level. It really does. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown, but Justin Jefferson, you could argue, is the best wide receiver in the league. So I'm gonna go with the Vikings. I think Adam Thielen, that's a 1,000-yard receiver. I know he's not having the best start, but we know what he can do. I'm gonna go with the Vikings.
I agree.
But it's not like it's this monstrous
Well,
gap,
I mean, the emergence of Amon-Ra St. Brown has made this a legitimate conversation, but it is the Minnesota Vikings. Justin Jefferson, easily a top 3, top 5 wide receiver. Who will be guarding him on Sunday? I'm very intrigued. Very intrigued for that matchup, but it's got to be Minnesota. You can't put the Lions over Minnesota right now. Fair? Tight ends. TJ Hockenson, Irv Smith Jr. Who's got the better tight ends?
See, this one's tough too.
Well, it's not for me. It's Irv Smith.
Oh, no, it's TJ. I think he's a better tight end than Irv Smith, but again, TJ has been playing like it. That's the caveat there. It's like I like TJ better, but he hasn't shown me he's better than Irv Smith. So I don't have a problem if you go Irv Smith. I'm going to go with just the potential. I believe TJ can have a better season and is a better tight end than Irv Smith, but he's got to go out and show it. So a little bit of faith coming from me, but I'm going with TJ Hockenson.
All right, fair enough. I'm going to stick with Irv Smith. I can't with Hockenson right now. He's not producing, and he's got all the favorable matchups.
Right.
Look for Irv Smith to have a better outing. Offensive line, we both agree. The Detroit Lions, not even close. It really isn't. So, do we have any? There's no debate here.
No.
It's the Lions O-line.
No, yeah. There's not even a question.
D-line, defensive front. I think it's pretty close.
Yeah, but the Vikings have 2 guys that are like 10-plus sack guys. Proven, with Zadarius Smith and Hunter. So, I'd probably give it to the Vikings. But I like what the Lions got.
If you're going to give it to the Vikings, you tell me if I'm off here. I'd say 52-48. I think the emergence of Aiden Hutchinson last week was great to see. Charles Harris continues to show his veteran presence. I think this defensive front will only get better as the season goes on. Slight advantage, in my opinion, to the Minnesota Vikings. Thoughts?
No, I'm with you. And listen, they got to prove it. Aiden Hutchinson, he's been playing extremely well. I like Charles Harris. But the Vikings, I mean, those two guys are 10-plus sack guys. And they don't have Romeo Okwara back yet. So I'm going to go with the Vikings.
Fair enough. I'm going to skip the linebackers.
Yeah, because
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Secondary. Safeties, corners combined. Who's got the better secondary? Who is more equipped to deal with an Amon-Ra St. Brown, a Justin Jefferson, a TJ Hockenson, a Dalvin Cook, etc.? Which team has the better secondary?
Honestly, I think it's pretty close to me. I know they have Harrison Smith, which, by himself, he's a damn good safety. It's close. Jeff Okudah's shown things the last 2 games, and I get he's got to do it more and do it for a longer, period of time. I'm going to go with the Lions here. But, you have Tracy Walker, who, gotta love Tracy Walker, had a really good game against the Eagles. Had a tipped pass against the Commanders as well, which led to an interception. And then you have Amani Oruwariye, who's a 7-6 interception guy. He's coming back healthy this week. I'm going to probably, even though I'm not saying the Lions secondaries are world beaters, I'm going to slightly lean the Lions just because I like their secondary as a whole. I think the Vikings with Harrison Smith, they have pieces definitely. They drafted the safety out of Georgia, which we liked a lot.
Andrew Booth out of Clemson.
They have Andrew Booth out of Clemson. I'm going to give the slight edge to the Lions, but it's really close. It really is.
I have to give the edge to Minnesota. Harrison Smith, Patrick Peterson, Lewis Sign, rookie out of Georgia, Andrew Booth, rookie out of Clemson. This is difficult. I don't think one secondary is significantly better than the other, but one is more proven. So how will Okudah adjust to guarding one-on-one?
Right.
With Justin Jefferson? How will Amani Oruwariye line up? What is Tracy Walker's impact going to be against Dalvin Cook? There's a lot of questions. I have questions for both teams, to be honest, in the secondary. But I would say Minnesota's more capable.
Yeah.
More capable as of right now.
One of the best safeties. I mean, he's questionable, though, for this game. So we'll see if he plays. And Andrew Booth as well. But we'll see. It's close. I'm not going to argue with you.
All right. I want to finish this up with a question for you. We're talking about Sunday, going into the game. Who's got advantages where? Finish this sentence for me. The Minnesota Vikings will win because...
I would say because of Justin Jefferson.
Really?
Yeah. If he can go do what he did like he did against Green Bay and what he's done against the Lions last year, you're going to have a long day. But still, on top of that, I think the Lions offensively can keep up with that. So, You know what? It's either Justin Jefferson or I'm going to go with they stop the run. If they can stop the run and make it difficult for the Lions to run the football, I think that's going to cause issues.
You can give me
too.
one reason offensively and defensively,
there you go, right
so
there.
that works.
Offensively,
so
Justin Jefferson.
We're pretty damn close.
Yeah.
The Vikings will win, in my opinion, because of Dalvin Cook's ability to run the ball, catch out of the backfield. And they will win because they were able to limit the Lions' defense, or excuse me, the Lions' offense in terms of being able to run. But to be honest with you, that's not going to be easy.
No, it's not.
And I don't think that's not even realistic to say. The Lions are going to have their way. They struggled against Philly, they meaning the Minnesota Vikings. I expect the same against Detroit. Finish this sentence. The Detroit Lions will win because
running the football and getting after the quarterback. That's the two things for me. If you can get after Kirk Cousins like you're able to do against Carson Wentz, Kirk's going to have a long day. And same with Dalvin Cook. So for me, I'm going to go with getting after the quarterback, being stout on that defensive line. We'll see how they respond without John Comiskey. And then offensively, it's going to be running the football. That's been the recipe for success for every game so far, so I'm not changing it. You got to be able to run the football, and that's going to open up everything else and allow for guys like Amon-Ra to run free and catch some passes. So I'm going to go with those two things.
I hate you. That was a really good answer. No, seriously. That was my answer. Kirk Cousins, not scared of him being mobile, not scared of him escaping the pocket. You get pressure on Kirk, he's going down.
Yeah.
You saw what Philly did. They got pressure on Kirk, he forced errant throws. Excuse me.
Had some force.
The pass rush is so key to this game. It'll be key most weeks. But specifically with Kirk Cousins, at home, you have to get after the quarterback. You have to make Minnesota uncomfortable. That's where it starts. And then on offense, controlling the time of possession, running the football with DeAndre Swift. That is the ultimate key. We agree 100% on it. We'll take a quick break. When we get back, Owen will join us to go over the Washington loss by Michigan State, previewing this upcoming weekend against Minnesota, what it means for Michigan State. Big Ten football officially starting. Very, very excited for that. 9:30, MicroMike joining us. Still got a lot of good stuff coming up. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at the Academy of Warren.
Are you interested in expanding your career and making a difference in your community? Because, guys, the Academy of Warren for professionals that have a passion for working with students in the K-8 department and more. If you guys are interested, if you want to apply, call them at 586-552-8010. They are the Academy of Warren.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risk, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there.
And that one Lions playoff win in 1991, yeah, Detroit fans were there.
Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Baker Mayfield's throwing him the football. Hey, they're better off with me throwing the football to DJ Moore.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Jeff Iafrate here with OddsTrader.com because, guys, OddsTrader.com is the #1 site for your game day bets. Today is Thursday Night Football, isn't it not? Go on to OddsTrader.com and place your best bet because they have play-by-play updates, live scores, and the best price on every game from multiple sports books. Go to OddsTrader.com right now for your best bet.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show, 9:15, joined by a very special guest, a guest who I want to punch in the face sometimes, but I still love him. And that is Owen, our Michigan State beat reporter here at the Woodward Sports Network. Owen? What's up, buddy?
Oh,
Yeah.
money. Oh, money.
What do you want to punch me in the
what's up with
face?
the hair? Damn!
How can you punch that guy in the face,
I
man? He looks
just
good.
It's a big weekend for Michigan State. I'm ready to dive into it.
All right. Oh, god damn it, Fish! You didn't mute my mic, you jackass.
He was doing this.
I know you were going off about fantasy football in the.
Yeah,
He was doing this. I figured he was going back to you guys. What am I supposed to do?
Fish, you're such a dumb mother. You know what?
I'm fine being called that. It's fine.
Fish, no,
What am I
you.
supposed to do?
It's all right.
I'll
Fish.
take blame for it.
You're goated. You're goated.
Oh
Fish.
god, full context, guys. I was sending a message in my fantasy football group chat, just so
I
you
didn't know he
guys
was
all
going to
know.
keep the screen blank.
And this is
Figured he was
exactly
gonna
what
pop the
happened.
screen
Some
off.
idiot in a different league traded DeAndre Swift, Dallas Goedert, and Michael Gallup for DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, Kyle Pitts, and Dameon Pierce. Complete idiot. So I was just talking a lot of crap. So
You want me to keep the mic off if there's
Fish,
a black screen?
Mute the fucking mic. It's not hard. God damn it, man.
Apparently it is.
I just swore twice because of you. Enough. Jesus. Hey, Owen. How are you, buddy?
I'm
you want
still
Fish's
doing
job?
good.
Job's available
You
now.
want to punch me in the face?
All right, Owen, look. Washington took care of business against Michigan State. They were favorites going into the game. Michael Penix, what a player. Walk me through Washington, some of your takeaways, and then let's preview Minnesota this week.
Yeah, biggest takeaway from that Washington game was there was no pass rush. Plain and simple. There needed to be, there wasn't. The past couple of games before that, there was great pass rush, led by Jacoby Windman, back-to-back Big Ten Defensive Player of the Weeks. He had 0 pressures on the quarterback. That's not good. Basically, my job was to watch the pocket the entire game, and there just wasn't enough pressure. And then the secondary, of course, was horrid as always, but with the lack of pass rush, there was just no shot for Michigan State to win that one. Michael Penix Jr. could go through 3 reads, plenty of time, at least 6 seconds in the pocket, and that was the downfall for Michigan State. And then the run, there was absolutely no run game whatsoever for Michigan State. Negative 14 rushing yards, the majority of the first half. It was unbelievable. The offensive line just wasn't blocking at all for Jarek or Jalen Berger. That was just killer for Michigan State. I thought Thorne did well. I was impressed with his effort. Keon Coleman was fantastic. I'm not worried about the pass game at all, but the run game has got to be better this week against Minnesota.
And you talked about it, Berger and Broussard, the offensive line in the run game struggling a little bit. They didn't win on the line of scrimmage offensively. But Owen, we talked last week about your confidence level heading into Washington. Does this game change your confidence level moving forward, especially heading into bigger, more tougher Big Ten competition?
It does not, because I like the way we match up against Minnesota. I think this is what we're going to find out what Michigan State really is. That's such a big thing for this week. How are they able to bounce back? What is the identity of this team? Last year, after both losses Michigan State had against Ohio State, they bounced back and beat Penn State the next week. Against Purdue, they bounced back and they beat Maryland the next week. We're going to find out. This is a starting conference play. The season is far from over. You could easily bounce back and have a massive season, even against the loss against Washington. So you beat Minnesota this week. I think that changes a lot of different things for Michigan State. But if you lose, then the season is starting to look tougher and tougher as you move on. And this is a must-win game for Michigan State.
Mel Tucker was pretty vocal, I mean, I guess you could say after at the press conference about himself and taking accountability for how the team played, putting his name stamped with that secondary before the season, and we saw they played as well. I want to ask you were there, you were in Washington. What was Mel's message to the team after the game? Like, what was the aura of that locker room?
Well, he was not happy with the way the effort. I think effort was the biggest thing, because it felt like some guys weren't giving 100% effort. Cramps again were an issue. He's had a problem with that in the past. A couple guys had to leave because of that. It's just an all-around effort. Mel Tucker, obviously, he's a very optimistic guy, but there's been some tension in the football building this entire week. leading up to this Minnesota game because everyone knows how big it is and the fact that you're coming off a loss. You win that one, you feel a lot more confident going into this one, but now you have to win this game. 3:30 at the Woodshed is the biggest game so far this season. It's going to really set the tempo because then you go to Maryland, then you have Ohio State. It's plain and simple, you have to win this one. And if Michigan State wins this one, there's a very good possibility that Ohio State game will be at night at the Woodshed on ABC primetime. So if that doesn't just give you enough to want to make that big of a game right there, it's, man, I would love to see Ohio State, Michigan State at night. But either way, you got to win this one. And it's going to start with stopping the run against Mohamed Ibrahim. The guy is fantastic, had over 200 yards, 3 touchdowns this past week against Colorado. He is a force to be reckoned with. I'm not too worried about their pass game so much because they just lost Chris Autumn-Bell for the season. But Mohamed Ibrahim, he's a fantastic back. And then for Michigan State flipping to the other side of the ball, you got to get the run game going. Minnesota has one of the best run defenses in the country coming off of last season. You got to be better. You got to run the ball more effectively so that they can set up that throwing for Peyton Thorne. Whether you have Jaden Reed or not, it doesn't really matter at this point. I feel like for this game because Keon Coleman is such a baller this season. I told you, Jeff, X Player of the Year or X Factor of the Year for Michigan State, Keon Coleman, and he's been so far on offense.
All right, Owen, look, you just slated the run of games coming up for Michigan State. Tough set of games. Ohio State not too far away from now. They need to start winning these games. I think Minnesota is a must-win game. You cannot afford to lose a game like Minnesota where you already dropped a non-conference game. You likely will lose to Ohio State and Michigan, in my opinion. That's already 3 losses. Penn State, as of right now, they may be a top 10 team by the end of the weekend, maybe next weekend. So you face Penn State to end the year on the road. This is a very difficult schedule right now looking for Michigan State. They have a lot of adversity coming up. They have to respond with a win against Minnesota, or we're going to be talking about possibly a 7-5 football team.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. You got to be better. You got to win this week, and then who knows from there. Obviously, you would chalk up. You would think that Ohio State game is a loss and the Michigan game is a loss, but you really never know. So that opens up a lot more possibilities. But if you lose to Minnesota, then it's like if Michigan State beats Michigan, that basically makes your season, which is sad to say. But at this point, that's what it's come down to. I mean, you have to win this game Saturday. It's going to be massive. The crowd's going to be packed. The stakes are there. I mean, this is a massive game. There will be couches burned after the game if Michigan State wins in Cedar Village.
Look, Minnesota, to me, one of the teams that were snubbed in the AP poll. I thought they should have been a ranked team. Michigan State, I believe, rightly so, kicked out of the poll. That was a bad loss at Washington. They didn't look competitive. Peyton Thorne did his best, but boy, Michigan State made so many early decisions that just cost them. The inability to hand the football off cleanly. The inability to recognize that Peyton Thorne is actually having one of his better games. Give him the ball. Keon Coleman looked good. Barker looked good. There was a lot of positives you could take away, but man, that secondary, Owen, last in the country last season, somehow they got worse.
You got to blitz more. That's my biggest takeaway. They had one blitz dialed up the entire game. That is frustrating as just watching their secondary struggle. You got to change things up. Tucker talked about press conference after the game that there would be personnel changes. I don't know exactly what that is entailing, but you would have to think it has something to do with the defense and secondary. I don't know who's going to be playing this week for defense, but plain and simple, you got to blitz more. You got to change it up. You can't play soft zone every single play because your secondary just isn't good enough. You have to realize that and adapt. There was some adaptation, but you have to dial up more blitzes. I can't stress it enough. You saw the pressure you got against Akron. You saw the pressure you got against Western Michigan. you have to do it again against Minnesota, because Mohamed Ibrahim is going to run all over you. That's plain and simple. You have to stop the run in this one. So I'm a little bit less worried about the secondary in this game because they don't have Chris Ottenbell, their leading wide receiver for the rest of the season. It's all going to come down the run. Can they stop it? And then can they run the football?
All right, fair enough. Well, Owen, can't thank you enough for joining us this morning. Well done, as always. You did a hell of a job. We'll be looking forward to seeing all your coverage over the weekend between Michigan State and Minnesota. Give me your game prediction before I let you go.
I'm going to say 27-21 MSU does win, and then they bounce back, and then you beat Maryland, and then you go into that night game against Ohio State with one loss. And
I like it.
I mean, they've never – I'm just saying this right now. Obviously, I'm not saying that they're going to win this one, but Michigan State has not lost at home with fans under Mel Tucker yet. So that's something to watch out for.
Way to jinx it, Owen.
Yeah,
no,
maybe
I'm joking.
but it's a good thought.
God bless. Owen, thank you so much. Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you,
Enjoy the
Owen.
game on Saturday. We'll definitely catch up early next week to go over what we saw over this upcoming weekend. Thanks so much, Owen.
Go green.
Go white.
All right, when we get back, MicroMike will be joining us this morning here on the Morning Woodward Show to preview the Lions-Minnesota Vikings game. I'm excited to talk with Mike. We haven't gotten his reaction to the Washington win, so there's still a lot to cover. But before we go, I got to tell you about the official studio sponsor of the Woodward Sports Network, and that is Planet Fitness. Home of the judgment-free zone, your fitness is essential. For $0 down, $10 a month, you can get started today and take care of your both physical and mental health. Get to a Planet Fitness near you with one of their many Metro Detroit locations, or sign up today by visiting planetfitness.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Jeff Iafrate here, and I'm going to tell you about our friends at Alta, because, guys, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. Have a big project coming up? Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show, 9:28 on a beautiful Thursday morning, and we are joined by the one, the only, MicroMike. Good morning, Mike.
Go Lions!
Good morning, folks, and oh yes, we're almost here for another week of Detroit Lions football on Sunday, and I tell you what, 1-1 is much better than 0-2.
Mike, you know what? We talked about it before the game, how important of a game it was. We discussed really after week one, those coaching decisions, you had to bounce back and just have a clean game. They absolutely did at Washington. Give me your thoughts on the Washington game before we preview Minnesota.
Oh, I love the game. I love what the Detroit Lions defensive line did to Carson Wentz. They're getting after him, sacking him. Aiden Hutchinson living up to that number 2 status. That was the best part to me. Just seeing this guy just take him to the ground, because now we can look forward to the rest of the games this season with Aiden Hutchinson getting double teamed and still smacking some quarterbacks. And Okudah, I got to say, what a hell of a job locking down. It is good to see this defense, at least piece of the defense, get a little bit better as the season goes along.
We had this conversation earlier, Mike, and I want to get your opinion on it. If the Lions, dare I say, win this game against the Minnesota Vikings or even play it close, does it, because considering where the NFC North lines up, every team is 1-1, the Lions would be at the forefront of that if they win, depending on what happens with Green Bay and Tampa. But does it change your expectations for this season, depending on the results of the game this Sunday?
Yeah, it changes it a little bit, because I had initially, when the schedule came out, that the Detroit Lions would lose to the Minnesota Vikings in Week 3. It's at Minnesota. The assumption was, we always fight these guys close, and they'll probably come on top. So if we win, that gets it another win and a real chance to make a wild card spot, because you would have to assume the Detroit Lions are going to take care of business against Seattle. Who knows what goes on with the Dallas Cowboys, and the New England Patriots right now are not what we really expect them to be. Well, we did expect with Matt Patricia's offensive coordinator, but you know what I'm saying. They're not the New England Patriots of old. Fair enough.
Mike, my question for you is, you mentioned Jeff Okudah's so far really good performances he's had to start the season. TJ Hockenson, not the best start. Who are we looking for to step up that hasn't already? Because we know what Swift has brought to the table. We know what St. Brown has brought to the table. Who needs to step up on Sunday to give the Lions the best opportunity to win against Minnesota?
Yeah, definitely one player that needs to step up for the Lions is Amon-Ra. It looks like he could be playing in this game, and last year he was getting a lot of interceptions. He was locked down, doing a really good job at his position. But this year so far, he's been a little bit lackluster. He's been a problem, and a lot of teams are taking advantage of it. Started in preseason and continue on to Week 1. So if he plays in this game, he's got to be able to take care of business with Adam Thielen, who's a pretty good wide receiver. He's been there getting it done against the Detroit Lions for many, many years. He needs to step up. Okudah's stepping up. If he can take that spot, we can get a couple turnovers, because we've seen Cousins to Darius Slay connection was absolute fire. So I'd love to see Cousins to Amon-Ra connection on Sunday.
All right, speaking of connections, this offense has been connected from the beginning of the year. They've been phenomenal. 4th in total yards, Mike. 3rd in rushing yards per game. It has been refreshing to see Ben Johnson, this offense really click. We saw it in joint practices. We saw it in Hard Knocks. You saw it on the first drive of preseason. You saw it throughout camp and the reports coming out. This offense was primed for a really good start to the year. Did we expect it to be top 5? To be honest, I don't think anybody saw top 5 coming, but you definitely expected them to be one of the better offenses in the NFL because of their offensive line, because of the run game, because of Jared Goff and how comfortable he would be with Amon-Ra St. Brown emerging. All this factors into what they are now, and this offense, Mike, 36 points a game almost. Where the hell did this come from, and can it continue?
Hey, when you got Ben Johnson at the helm, his initials is BJ, it's always winning. He's done a phenomenal job with the Detroit Lions offense. Him, Jared Goff, and Dan Campbell getting together really starting halfway through last season and building an offense that kind of particularly helps out Goff and what he used to do when he was with the Rams, putting the same type of situation in there. And if you look at the Rams in 2018, they had a great running game. Guess what? Right now, you got DeAndre Swift, who is phenomenal in the run game, 10 yards a carry. So, yeah, I think it's going to continue. You have to stop the run. No one can stop the run right now. The Lions' offensive line is bullying folks. They're opening up holes. And when it comes to Swift, he's smashing the hole really hard. And when you have somebody that can smash the hole really hard, it's hard to beat that offense. And the play action opens up. And guess what? We're going to get a player in Williams here in a couple weeks. Play action pass is going to be sick if this run game continues with Swift, and I suspect it will.
Yeah, no doubt, Mike. I mean, you got to slam the hole really hard. I mean, that's as expected. You got to get a win. I want to ask you about Amon-Ra St. Brown, because as we know through 2 games, it's confirmed he's that dude. I mean, we know that. And you saw, I'm sure you've seen the comments, him talking about Diami Brown too. About I didn't see him much out there, honestly, on the field at all. Like, you could tell he's got that killer instinct in him. What are your thoughts on his play so far and for the future for this season? What are your expectations for him?
Sky is the limit for Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you've seen it in training camp. If anyone was there watching it, he was dominating the field. He has a different dog mentality. He's not a diva. He's a guy that works extremely hard. You've seen it also in Hard Knocks, where his father making this guy lift weights. He does all the football catches before practice. This guy has that right mentality, and he's pissed off that he was taken so late in the draft. This guy is exactly what the Lions need. That kind of Golden Tate type of player, but with a attitude. I love it, and Jared Goff loves it because he keeps throwing him the football, and with the yak, with him getting open, it's just going to continue. And again, I think he's going to make the Pro Bowl for sure, and we'll see after that.
Fair enough. Mike, Detroit, Minnesota, their first divisional game of the year. What can we learn on Sunday from this Detroit Lions football team that we may already know or not know? One of the things I'm looking forward to is coaching. Let's see if they can have another good performance like they did against Washington. No key decisions that were, in my opinion, egregious. No mistakes that cost them a few possessions or cost them points. Even the 4th and 1 at the goal, I don't mind that at all. They pinned them back. That's a great position to be in. You'd rather go for 7 instead of the 3. You end up getting a safety anyways. And then you take the punt return 52 yards downfield. You set up 7 again. The rest is history. We know the story. But for me, Mike, I want to see coaching go into this week against Minnesota on the road, a difficult matchup, and really have a game plan to really stifle this offense that can be explosive in Minnesota with Justin Jefferson. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the Detroit Lions to be very physical in this football game. You're going into NMA territory. Very big crowd over there in Minnesota. They just got handed to by the Philadelphia Eagles. The fans are really upset. This is going to be an atmosphere that the Vikings team itself wants to punish Detroit for what happened the week before. So if Detroit can come in there and say, hell no, we're going to run it down your throat. We're going to take it to Kirk Cousins. We're going to sack this guy, and we're going to beat the hell out of you from quarter 1 to 4 and win this game on the road for the first road game of the year. To me, that would spell that this team is finally taking that next step that we've been waiting for, when Jim Caldwell had this team. We've been waiting for Matt Patricia when he was destroying this team. Now we got a guy and a physical team that understands we can win now, and it's time to really show it to the rest of the NFL. And I don't give a damn where the other teams thinks. Like that 49ers mentality when they had Harbaugh. That's what I want to see on Sunday.
And for Jared Goff's sake, I mean, we know the year Jared's having 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. Not only is he leading the NFC North in touchdown passes, but he's second, I believe, in passing yards behind Kirk Cousins. What your thoughts on Jared, number 1, but number 2, what would you attribute that to? Is it Ben Johnson? Is the weapons around him being more comfortable? What are your thoughts on Jared Goff's play so far?
Look, he's done a really good job for what he's positioned to be that game manager. I don't think he's an outstanding quarterback like a Karen Rodgers or a Patrick Mahomes, someone out there that's going to destroy the game for you. But I think he's a guy that can hold the fort down for sure. Just like in 2018, again, when they could run the football with Todd Gurley, he's got that running game. And more importantly, I think his confidence is up. Everybody has seen it. He seems more confident in this offense. He seems more confident in this team. He's been here year 2. He understands that the leadership, Brad Holmes all the way down, believes in him. So I think having that all together and more talent on this team, he's comfortable and just letting it rip. Now, he's not going downfield every single pass, but he is taking his shots like he did not do last year because he believes in the players around him. He believes that he doesn't have to worry about getting pulled from the game, anything like that. He's just good to go and letting Goff be Goff.
Fair enough. Well, Mike, I can't thank you enough for joining us this morning. We appreciate it as always. Give me a final score prediction for Sunday.
Here we go. Final score prediction. This one was a tough one, but I must say, it's going to be a close game, folks. We always come down to the Minnesota Vikings. I think it's going to be a last-second drive, and the Detroit Lions win 31-30.
Wow.
I think we pull off the
tell
victory.
him, Mike.
In Minnesota, we're 2-1, and everyone's leaning back and turning some heads. I hope it happens. Let's go, Lions.
I love it, Mike. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. Can't thank you enough. Can't wait to have you on next week as well.
Can't wait.
You're doing a hell of a job. Appreciate it as always. When we get back, Jeff, the Detroit Pistons just made a trade.
They did.
My goodness.
It's 9 a.m., dude.
Dude,
Troy
Saban
Weaver.
Lee, Kelly Olynyk for Bogdanović?
We're going to talk about it.
Utah looking like the Sacramento Kings right now. Thank you so much. God bless. We will get to that in just a minute, but before we do, I got to tell you about my official drink on Sundays, and that's the Mulligan 8% alcohol, iced tea, lemonade, gypsy vodka mix. Look, people, when you spend a whole week working like I do, and you got to deal with people like Fish, this is the go-to drink. Tastes
He's a
great.
bit of an annoying ass.
Gets
isn't
into
he?
your comfort zone. You're supporting local, which is always a big thing for me. The Mulligan is the go-to drink for Sundays in my household. I'll be sharing it with everybody when I invite the whole team over on a Sunday to watch the games. But regardless of the point, make sure you try the Mulligan. Support a local always, and please drink responsibly.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, learning street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Holton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries, what will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
Hey, it's Scott from the Bet Show. Thursday night football coming at you here tonight. We're going to break it all down for you. We got a little bit of weather issues here tonight. We also got some pretty strong trends. You'll have to join us at 4:30 at the Woodward Bets YouTube page to hear all about it. You also got to get over to their app store and download oddstrader.com. It's got live scoring, play-by-play updates, the best place to check all the odds of sports books right in the palm of your hand. But hey, let's get to some fun coupons. We need some winners. So for tonight, I'm rolling with the Steelers. The Steelers are 20-6 against the spread in divisional games as underdogs under Tomlin. Sounds good to me. Oddstrader.com. Woodward Bets. Check it out.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Let me tell you about our friends at Big Frog, because, guys, you can get a free Woodward Sports t-shirt. That's right, a free Woodward Sports t-shirt all month long at Big Frog and Novi. Tell them we sent you, and they will print one out for you on the spot. But not just that, for anything, for your sports jersey wear, for the youth, contact Big Frog. They'll hook you up. Go to bigfrog.com/Novi for more information.
Jeff, breaking news. The Detroit Pistons sent Saban Lee and Kelly Olynyk to the Utah Jazz for Bojan Bogdanović.
A bag of chips. We sent to the Utah Jazz. I'm going to say this, too.
Walk
Troy
me through
Weaver,
it. My God.
Troy Weaver. You're special, man. You're special. The fact that you flipped Kelly Olynyk, which I had concerns of because of you already have Duren, you have Noens Noel, Isaiah Stewart, you got enough big men to get Kelly Olynyk and space the floor for you, but you trade him for a guy who can also space the floor for you. You need wing depth. You get Bogdanović, a career 39% three-point shooter. I love this. He averaged 18 points last year. He's an expiring contract. Worst case scenario, you let him walk. And you save about $12 million of what you would have paid Kelly Olynyk. So I love this. I've always said, for this team to have the success, and I'm not talking about winning all these games, but at least gelling, you need shooting. You need spacing for Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham, and you got just that. It's not just Saddiq Bey now. You have more shooting on the wing. And here you go, Bogdanović, a veteran, a guy who last year for the Utah Jazz in garbage time was shooting the hell out of the ball. So I love this trade. You know, it's one of those trades where it doesn't move the needle, you know, from 30 wins to 45 wins. No, but they did get better at him by doing that trade. You get rid of Saban Lee, who wasn't going to see much time this year anyway, and Kelly Olynyk, who was already getting squeezed out of the rotation. So for those two players, you flip for a guy who's a damn near 40% three-point shooter for his career. I mean, I'm not saying this is on the level of Marvin Bagley. This is a good rotation piece, but talk about the trades he's made. Like Josh Jackson and Trey Lyles for Marvin Bagley, and then you trade Kelly Olynyk and Saban Lee for Bogdanović. He's wheeling and dealing. He's wheeling and dealing.
I don't agree with a lot of your comments this morning. Noel will not start. Isaiah Stewart will be the starting 5. He will be part of the starting 5, and he will be your number 5. It'll be Cade, Ivy, Saddiq Bey, Marvin Bagley, Isaiah Stewart. That is the starting 5. I don't think it'll be anything else, Jeff. And now you have Bogdanović coming off the bench. Now you have Killian Hayes off the bench. Jalen Duren.
Right.
You have pieces on this basketball team. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Troy Weaver. It was a bag of chips, as you said. He sent over a bag of chips. He got a whole Brinks truck of them. Yeah. Phenomenal.
And I love it, man. And this speaks a lot to not only, I mean, you talk about Jalen Duren, and the biggest question we had is how ready is he going to be? And you saw it in the summer league. He's going to get more playing time with now the departure of Kelly Olynyk. So this is great for Jalen Duren. It's great for Isaiah Stewart. It's great for the young guys. And you're getting a wing who can shoot, which is the biggest need for this team. I get he doesn't play defense like Isaiah Livers, but you need spacing, and he fits that mold. You can play him at the 3 or the 4. So no complaints from me, Adam. I love it. I mean, this is a small trade, but it's significant in a way. You grab a veteran, but a veteran who isn't no slouch. You can shoot the ball. So I love it.
All right, well, let's look at what it does to the rotations right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what was the one thing we had an issue with before this trade? When Cade's on the court and Saddiq Bey isn't, what shooting options do you have?
Yeah,
Ivy's a
Livers,
rookie.
yeah.
Ivy's a rookie. Livers is okay. Well, where is the playmaking ability for not only Cade, but for Killian Hayes? When Saddiq is not on the court, who is the primary shooter? That's a problem.
No, there's not so
Who
much
are the
spacing.
guys that are going to sit in their spots and create space? You don't have that. The Bogdanović move, I love it. I love it. I love it. This is a guy I expect to get 20, 24 minutes a night. Hell, even 25, 26.
Right.
I could totally see it. Given how you're going to rotate, when Cade and Saddiq need a break, you'll probably see Hayes, Livers, Ivy. They'll go small, Bogdanović on the court at the same time.
Right.
I really like this move. It gives Dwayne Casey a lot of flexibility.
It does. The versatility we always talk about. Like if you want to go, Cade, Jaden Ivey, Saddiq, Bogdan, and then you want to go Isaiah Stewart, there's your small ball lineup right there. And you got guys who can space the floor. Isaiah Stewart, we'll see how that three-point shooting translates. I think he's going to be, around 30%. I'm not going to say he's going to be near 40 his first year shooting the ball at a high rate. But Bogdan, I mean, that's a guy. That's the type of pieces that guys trade for. I mean, even if it doesn't work out, let's say worst case scenario, Bogdan is a bum. He doesn't play well. He's an expiring contract, and that frees up $12 million more for you this offseason to go and spend money. That's the big thing to take out of it. Troy maintaining that flexibility. You have Alec Burks. You have Bogdan, who, again, both those guys are 40% three-point shooters. You have Saddiq Bey, who we think can be a 40% three-point shooter. He had 50 last year. So, again, you're just adding more spacing for the rest of the team. And for Ivy and Cade, for the playmakers they have, Killian Hayes, this is a great thing. They needed shooting at him. They needed more shooting, and they got just that by doing the trade. In Utah, they're tanking for Victor. I mean, this tells us they're trading all their assets away. I believe Mike Conley's probably going to be out next if they can trade him. But, yeah, I mean, Utah's heading into a rebuild. They want to suck this year and be the worst team in the NBA. And the Pistons capitalize off that by getting one of their assets. They're basically trading away for nothing. So it's a win. It's a W trade by Troy Weaver, and he's maintaining that flexibility with the salary cap and with different players.
Does this all but guarantee Russell is staying in L.A.?
Because of what? The Pistons made
the
a
Utah
trade?
deal.
Oh, well, I think they're still going to try and attempt to trade Russell away. Maybe a team that wants to suck takes Russell in because he has 1 year left on his contract and you can get rid of him. Again, Utah, I'm not going to be surprised if they start eating contracts as well for 1 year. I mean, who knows? But Utah, they want to suck, period. And they're going to do just that this year. So whether it's Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, whoever it is, they're targeting the draft this upcoming year. That's for sure.
Fair enough. Well, when we get back, it is mailbag time, so get all of your questions in the chat regarding the Pistons trade, the Minnesota Vikings, Detroit Lions game, Michigan State, whatever it may be. Drop your questions in the Woodward Sports chat, and we will get to it in just a bit. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency.
Guys, our friends over at SMA, they let people know it's okay to not be okay. They spread awareness about mental health and other substance abuse. Their new podcast, this is the F Word standing for fentanyl, help spread awareness of fentanyl and other addictions. Go to thesportsma.com if you are struggling or know someone who is.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Detroit's downtown summer playground is back. Open all summer long, the Monroe Street Midway. Enjoy roller skating, free Wi-Fi, food trucks, art installations, and so much more. Don't forget to take advantage of the basketball court, putt-putt, and, of course, family programming all summer long. All art installations are done by Detroit artists, and it's a fun, safe event from people 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Jeff Iafrate here. Let me tell you about our friends at the Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck, because, guys, it's the home of the original football bowling game. 2 to play for $12, the unlimited open play, or you could pay $120 and get an entire lane reservation for up to you and 10 other individuals. $2 mystery beer machine. They have a full bar. Check it all out. FullingWarehouse.com.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show. We'll start with this really interesting question from Ben. Ben asks, what Detroit sports team do you want to see win a championship the most?
This is easy.
See, I don't think so.
It's easy.
And I'm going to disagree. It's not the Lions.
It's the Lions.
No. All right,
easy.
Go ahead.
Easily.
No.
They're the organization that needs to be validated out of all the other teams. The Red Wings, we know they've done it. The Pistons, they've done it. The Tigers, well, you're hoping they've done it, but they at least have to get back to that point of contending. So
hear me out.
It's the Lions.
Hear me out.
The city would go crazy.
I'm going to say the Tigers. And hear me out. Tigers haven't won a World Series since '84.
It's been a while.
We had that decade stretch where we really gave up golden opportunities to not only get to World Series, but win multiple World Series. The Lions haven't won a division since '93.
They haven't won a championship since my great-grandmother
They haven't won
was
a
alive.
Super Bowl ever. But where I'm getting at here, but hear me out. Where I'm getting at is, with the Lions, I would love to see a division title. I would love to see a playoff win.
Because
I'm not even throwing the Super Bowl right now.
Because you don't think it's a reality right now.
Not that it's not a reality, but context, I am dying more right now for a division and playoff win than I am for a Super Bowl.
What would mean
because if you win your division and you win playoff games, you're in contention for it anyways.
Oh no.
But for the
don't
Tigers,
give me
I think the Tigers winning a World Series, man. That is something we're missing. We had the 04 Pistons.
Right.
You had the 2008 Red Wings. Since the 2000s, you've seen multiple championships.
Can I ask you?
You haven't seen the Tigers. You've never seen the Lions. And believe me, again, the Lions winning a Super Bowl, that would be hell on earth.
What would mean
Detroit would be up in arms.
What would it mean more to the city?
The Lions obviously winning a Super Bowl. But in reality, how about we just start with a division and a playoff win? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the question was
what team do you want to see win one more right now?
Right.
Right now? I would rather see the Tigers.
Well, either team ain't winning one right now. I'll tell you that. So I get what you're coming from. I'm not going to say you're an idiot, but I disagree. Go with the Lions. Lions would need to win that thing.
Guys, you're not allowed to talk about the Super Bowl when your last division was in '93. So how about we take baby steps? How about you win your division first? How about you win a playoff game?
And you're not allowed to talk about the Tigers when they've been in 3 rebuilds in 8 years, all right?
And they've been to 2 World Series since 2006.
I'm not okay, so
they've been there.
My point.
They've been there.
So that's why you're making my point.
No, but you've been disappointed because they've gotten so close and they've come up short multiple times. Hear me out. I'm not saying the Lions winning a Super Bowl will trump anything in this town. I agree. But hear me out. The Tigers were this close. The David Ortiz Grand Slam, swept by the Giants. Hear me out.
I get you.
Right?
I get you.
Then you get the Lions. They've never gotten anywhere. They haven't even won a damn division in my lifetime. So where I'm going is seeing the Tigers win, that comes full circle to me. If the Lions turn this around and they build a contender and they're going to contend for the next 6, 7, 8 years and they end up getting to a Super Bowl, dare I say, winning a Super Bowl,
right?
That changes everything.
I know.
What are we doing here? Why the hell is this lady trying to open the door? Why is she walking away? What the hell is that?
Do you want me to open it?
You know what's funny? We've had
I was getting ready. She's from Jack's Car Wash, I think.
Try to walk through the studio while we're doing a show, but
she's from
it's
Jack's Car Wash.
I mean, we disagree. We agree to disagree.
No, I don't disagree with what you're saying. The Lions winning would be obviously it would trump anything.
Right.
But you've never even been. You haven't been to a championship game, an NFC championship game since '91.
That's not the question.
I'm giving context though.
I get you, but you're making my point. All right. You're making my point.
All right. What else we got here?
All right. What do we got?
Let's see. Also, why would we start? Why would we start winning a division when the Tigers are total cheeks? Yeah, but the Tigers again. The point is they've gotten to the pinnacle. They've come up short. The Lions have never even teased you outside of '91.
Detroit Made says if the Lions win a Super Bowl, I'm ready for the afterlife.
Oh, everybody is. Everybody would be. I agree 100%.
He's ready for the afterlife. Come on.
Oh, God. Guys, are you going to have... we're not doing this. Adam, will Maryland cover the 17.5 this weekend? I don't believe so, no. Let's see. Kelly played mostly 5, which would have would have been a log jam. Yep. I agree.
Cleared
No,
some
it's a
space
great
up.
trade. Now you can get more Duren, more Noel, more Isaiah Stewart, who can line up at the 4 for you, along with Bagley. I really like the trade. Let's see. I am missing the questions. Where are they? What are the keys to victory against the Vikings? Pressure on Kirk Cousins and the Lions' ability to continue what they've been doing on the ground. They have to keep being effective running the football. If they can do that, I think they have a chance. Jeff?
I'm with you.
100%?
Yeah, I'm with you. I was reading this comment because I thought it was funny. This Raul Rosas Jr. Just got a contract at 17, and Jesse Adams asked, what do you think that 17-year-old who got a contract from Dana White would be able to kick Braylon and Ryan's ass at the same time? I'll be honest, he'll kick all of our asses. I don't think there's just limited to 1 or 2 people. Rosas would kick all of our asses. He was incredible, man. 17 years old, beating a grown man's ass. No, by the way, from Michigan. Shout out to him, by the way, who he fought. But, my God. Kelly, the second most clutch shooter on the team. Okay.
Has there been any word on Jameson Williams' return? Not that I've heard.
All right.
Kelly, the second most clutch shooter on the...
Yeah.
What? Did you just read that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did. Trying to process what Easy just said.
I'm going to delete the comment.
Yeah.
Jeff and Adam, do you think the Lions have done enough to earn a primetime game this season? Nope. Nope, they haven't. They will get flexed later on in the year if needed. So it's too early. Like you said, no, the sample size isn't enough. It's irrelevant. If they are division contenders by week 8, week 9, week 10, they're probably going to get flexed in a divisional matchup, but that's it.
What do we got? Troy Weaver, in essence, turned Jeremy Grant into Jalen Duren, turned Mason Plumlee into a few second rounds, and turned Kelly Olynyk into Bogdan Trust in Troy. Yeah, Daryl, you're right, man. You're right, my man. Troy Weaver just operating differently. He really is. I mean, for him to be in his first 3 years and to see what he's done with this roster through trades, and we haven't even spent big money in free agency yet. I mean, besides when he paid Jeremy Grant, I mean, if you want to call that big money, I'm talking about going out and getting one of these big fish. And he still hasn't done that. So, Troy Weaver, he's just getting started, people. The party's just getting started. We'll see. But he's already, in my opinion, not call me biased, he's one of the best general managers, I think, in terms of how he operates and how he thinks in the league. But wins and losses got to back that up, no doubt. What do we got?
All right, let's see what else. Rank the 4 Detroit GMs. We're going to go Steve Yzerman, Brad Holmes, Troy Weaver, Scott Harris.
Yeah. It's hard to rank.
Tough for me with Troy because he has proven a lot.
Right. Him and Brad are like kind of at that forefront of they have to take that next step. They have a lot of talent they've acquired.
They've both acquired the talent.
But we'll agree first in the 4, third, no question.
First and 4, no doubt.
Steve Yzerman.
Can I say 2A and 2B?
Yeah, that's fair.
Honestly,
that's fair.
at this point, they're really close to me. So no knock on Weaver at all.
Absolutely.
Who scores more, Abraham or Thorne? Go Thorne. Thoughts on the World Cup? I hope the U.S. does well. I'll be rooting for him.
There it is.
Go USA.
Let's see. Last question before we get out of here. What big boy are you going to be at tomorrow? The one in Rochester, correct?
Yes, in Rochester. Come hang out with us. We'll be there. We're doing the morning show from there. Who knows? I mean, last time we did a show at the big boy, it was a lot of fun. A lot of crazy stuff happened. So you guys are going to want to tune in. And if you're in the area, come say hi.
All right, well, that's it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. Appreciate it as always.
Yes.
We will see you guys tomorrow morning at Big Boy. I can't wait. Thursday Night Football tonight. Ooh. Jeff, who you got winning, Cleveland or Pittsburgh?
I'm going to go with Cleveland.
I'm going to go Pittsburgh. I'm going to go Pittsburgh Fish. Don't do it. That's it for today. You all have a great rest of your Thursday. Check out Big D Energy at 11 o'clock. We're out of here.
Go Browns. Woof, woof.